In physical education, as probably most people know, gym class could be a bit of a horror show for some students, and for other students they love it. It's their favorite part of their day. So we try to create a flexible program that not only engages the students who typically love gym class or physical education and learning new sports and learning new skills and putting on their sweatpants and getting active. We also try to find creative ways to engage students who absolutely hate it. We help them create an ethic that physical activity is something that they have to integrate into their life in a way that makes sense to them. Most of our students live on the south side of Providence and don't have a lot of experience in the natural world outside of the city, outside of their neighborhood. So one thing we do is take students on camping trips and hiking trips. We expose students to a really rigorous hike and trek to a beautiful view right when it's peak foliage. So they get a lot of appreciation for the natural world that they might not have had before. They get a lot of physical challenge. They learn how to persevere through those burning thighs as you're going up a really steep incline for hours. And sometimes they also learn how to deal with not making it to the top. Students are also playing team sports both after school in our extended day program, soccer, basketball, ping pong, we've had tennis, climbing, and also playing more competitive sports with the local high school that is in their neighborhood.
So just like with their regular education, the physical education is one student at a time, so it can look different depending on the student. We often always try to have many different levels and options for students so they can get in kind of based on where they are. I don't just think of this as physical education, or as students call it, gym. I like to think of what students are doing as more of a health and wellness. My end goal is always thinking of after school, like what's your physical activity going to be like when you go off to college, when you're in the workforce, and just picking up good habits.
The reason why I came here to the Met is because I've heard that they have lots of opportunities for you starting here, and that's what I really want to start. Because my dream ever since I was a little girl was to become an endocrinologist, which is a type 1 diabetic doctor, and I'm type 1 myself since I was 2 years old. Ever since then, I've always wanted to help other type 1 diabetics with their condition and try to figure out a way to be in the cure and help other kids as well understand how it is with type 1 as well.
It's not on you, don't worry.
Yeah, you're set.
Candy, don't look up.
The reason I was bullied is because from my size and my illness. They thought my size had to do with my illness, so they started pushing me into lockers and stuff like that, calling me names. I had to get in fights sometimes because I had to defend myself because girls just wanted to punch me around and stuff like that. But once I came here at the Met, it changed my life for sure. I've changed a lot.
Best educators are people who are going to do whatever it takes for a kid, they to kind of meet what their needs are. I think the challenge is that, sometimes my work-life balance might not be the greatest, where I probably spend too much time at home doing work, or planning or thinking about kids, or staying up at night, trying to fall asleep and being like, oh, but this is going on with them. So that's a real challenge and not something that I'm probably very good at. Like, I definitely bring a lot of my work home, and
I had a really good experience there. I wanted to find a place where I could do hands-on things and also get work experience, but at the same time get a really good education to prepare me for college. So I was looking at a couple different high schools, and the Met just seemed to be a place where you could be yourself and you could grow as a person individually. And every project that I got to work on was very individualized towards things that I liked and that I enjoyed. So that was one thing that I really, really benefited from and that I enjoyed a lot.
I decided to come to the Met because I heard about it from my cousin, and she told me all the opportunities they had, and I was interested in it.
I came to the Met because it offers more opportunities than other high schools would. It gives us an experience of what we want to do and gives us a chance to do it and be hands-on with the work.
Definitely have to say taking lots of opportunities, because if I was rather to go to a different school, they wouldn't have much to offer.
I feel like my family is very supportive. They always want me to set my goals high, and I feel like the staff always has my back here, which is great. I think of them as my family, the Met community. I am Latin, I am Dominican Republic, I'm Peruvian, and Puerto Rican. My mom has not. She had me by the time she was graduating. She's actually one of the people who started Met here. She was graduating in 2000, and I was born 2004. So my mom never got a chance to go to college.
The med school really prepares students for whatever it is that they want to pursue. And in my case, like for me, it was college. For others, it was something else, more like a trade career or something more technical.
So I think that in general, having anyone in power who's obviously doing the best for our country is important, and especially when it's from a minority group, such as women, people of different races, people who are LGBTQ. And as we see more of these people rise up to power, in this case it is women, I think that it encourages us and allows us to then hope for the same future for ourselves. So it kind of gives us a chance to actually say, wait, if someone like me is in power, then then maybe I can be in power too. So.
Well, we have the highest number of women ever elected to Congress currently serving. Women really brought us into the majority in the Democratic caucus. Record numbers of women ran and record numbers of women won, and I think we're going to continue to see that, and I think it's great for our democracy. They're incredible colleagues that bring a whole set of experiences and talents that our country needs.
There's a lot of congresswomen now, there's more than ever, so I think that every woman who's participating in government in general is doing a good job, even if they're on the other side, because it's proving that women can do the same thing. And it's inclusifying. You don't have to be a big politician and run a campaign to make a difference in your community, even if it's just a small one.
I think it's time to have a woman president, but that's just my personal opinion. I think it's way overdue. I think that right now we're living in a very different time where we see so many different crazy things in the news, and I think other countries have a completely different perspective of us. I think that this is a time where women should definitely speak up and raise their voice and talk about the issues that really matter and the issues that are important to constituents. And I think that there's so many. There's education, there's women's rights, there's also like human rights too, and I feel like this is a time where we need to be vocal and we need to stand up and support one another too.
You have a voice. Use that voice.
Hello and welcome.
And by popular demand, we're joined today by Shaquille O'Neal. He's one of the most dominant players in NBA history.
Hip hop has been a way of communication and of freedom of speech that like different communities have used, and I think that's important. Music in general, for like this beginning of the world, people were able to tell stories this way, and I think it's the way it's politicized right now. It's really important. Learning about like toxic masculinity through like as Drake raps to you, like that's important. I also love that there are different countries and cultures that are acknowledging how powerful hip hop culture is and are taking it as their own. I think it's a way of, for individuals who are in these communities, it tells up their story in a way that they can tell it. Many times when you're a person of color or a low-income person, we have white people telling our story. This time they get to tell their story the way they want it to be told.
Yeah, I mean, I think any music that is politically driven, that is expressing kind of support for equality and respect for human dignity and inclusion is, of interest to lots of people from marginalized communities.